I want to be very brief. I was asked to speak to the issue of, so we have the different pieces in the system, who holds them together. And I think that's where Hans just ended. And that's where I'm going to pick it up from. And what I come to you with just one question, and and my central question is, how is it that all the good BDS initiatives do not necessarily end up to a stronger, trusted, and or sustainable BDS market system? Why is it? I have an answer that you will be evaluating and that we'll explore together. And I have a proposition as well in 3 slides. So mine is very brief. So I want to talk to you about how do we then move from the problem, which I think is a problem that we are very familiar with, that we call fragmentation, to a place of convergence. And what's the role of multi-stakeholder platforms in that space in helping us build sustainable local market systems? That's what we'll be talking about. So what is the problem? What is my proposition? And then I will share a case in point for Kenya on how an emerging multi-stakeholder platform is doing that. So yes, I lead the AMEA work in Kenya, and also championing the driving and leading the Kenya BDS vision, which is a multi-stakeholder platform championed by AMEA, but of course now independent and beginning to work on its own. So, so just as I have said, we do not lack in activity or efforts. As you can see, we have all these, pieces in the system, standards and certifications. BDS providers are being developed. I know now they are and it's a good thing. There's a lot of ecosystem, level work. We are developing and certifying providers. Data systems are being built. All these things are being done. Governments are, initiating coordination efforts and policy to offer direction. So all these things are happening. But the point is, we are all doing these things in a very disjointed way. And as you can see, between my bricks or blocks, there is no communication. The communication is broken. The interconnectedness is broken, and the system is disjointed. So what happens is we have problems showing up on what sits on my right. Fragmentation shows up in the form of different quality expectations, uneven provider capacity, weak trust in who is qualified, data collected but not used, just as we were saying. And it was good to see some of us are trying to to put in effort to make sure that data is being used beyond projects, but always a challenge to bring that on an ecosystem level. And then learning also trapped in projects and not able to be looped into to the ecosystem to make sure there is improvement on the market system level. And so my proposition, and I come to you with over 20 years of field experience in the BDS space, is that a multi-stakeholder platform with a COP, community of practice, at the center of it, could help a lot. I want to qualify and say it's not the only solution, but I must say it is an indispensable component. It would help with coordination. It would drive adoption of standards. It would facilitate learning and also provide feedback loops so that the data and the learning that's coming through is not locked within projects and project cycles, but can permeate into the system and help every one of us to improve the system. And so a multi-stakeholder platform would help, as you can see from my graphic, to make sure that now the disjointed components are interconnected and communicating together and creating improvement on a system level. So I dare to say that this is an MSP, a multi-stakeholder platform, is the convergence mechanism that helps the other market system pieces to work together and therefore to help us build a stronger, trusted, and sustainable BDS market system. And what is happening in Kenya, a case in point in Kenya, not long ago, we embarked on a stakeholder process that started thinking through the BDS, the BDS system within the Kenyan market. And we developed a vision, of course, supported by AMEA. We developed a vision and a roadmap that culminated into last year into a document that now has helped us to initiate the Kenya BDS vision as a multi-stakeholder platform. As a multi-stakeholder platform and working with the stakeholders in this space, and of course, with the support of our technical implementation committee that's been supporting the secretariat in the process, we have been able to be involved within a government-led process because the Kenyan government has initiated and actually almost wrapping up a process of developing BDS standards that the government calls certification schemes for practitioners and BDS providers, and with a guiding national curriculum. With using the frameworks we had built, including a national service delivery framework and operationalization tools and propositions that we had that defined what a best practice certification program would look like. We were co-opted to participate in this government process. And through this platform, we have been, and if it was just, private sector with normal stakeholder platform, we wouldn't have been able to even be involved in the government process. So we have been able to inform that process. A lot of what we had built and developed from the ecosystem has actually been well received and has informed a lot of what the government is building, including the National Service Delivery Framework and its operationalization tools. Our ideas around a best practice and a well-governed certification program were also well received and integrated. And we are looking to see now the national standards framework unveiled from what I've learned in the course of this month, or not very far from now. And then the government is going to promote voluntary adoption. And so from where we sit as a multi-stakeholder platform, our role now moves to ensuring that we can champion awareness and adoption around this, working hand in hand with the government effort and the rest of us, activate a strong community of practice, support, ensure there is voluntary use of the standards and tools, help providers navigate certification pathways, and promote the rest of the elements that are required, ensuring that there is learning loops, that bring, that send feedback into the system to ensure continuous improvement. So from framework to adoption to practice to learning, and even at the system level. And Mark, this is my last slide. And so I want to leave you with 3 questions. Where is fragmentation most visible in your BDS market? What helps turn standards into real adoption and behavior change? And what role should multi-stakeholder platforms and communities of practice play in improving quality without making services unaffordable? And I want to invite you to follow us on LinkedIn by scanning the QR code on your screen. And you can also connect with us through the website, the Kenya BDS Hub, and the email on your screen. Otherwise, thank you very much, Mark, and the rest of us. Look forward to the discussion.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. I mean, loads of questions coming out of those 3 presentations. And you can see how Kenya's forged its own path, and that's generally how we do it in AMEA. So, we go where the energy is, where there's the opportunity, and trying to, learn in terms of what works. And certainly multi-stakeholder platforms, that is the way that it works. Branding it as AMEA, to be honest, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's just got to take its own form of ownership through the participants in that platform and gain credibility as Kenya has, and then it can enter into that discourse with government and various other people. So thanks for that, Peter.